This is Kate Baconsale. You're listening to Baconsale.
Happy Baconsale Day, everyone! It's time for all the boys and girls to eat everything on the menu at their local fast food restaurant while watching an entire film series. Then make a pop culture bracket to upset your friends and tier each one of your family members.
Wow.
Oh, and don't forget to hang up your Janko jeans in the mantle so Pete the intern can fill them with corn nuts, sour gummies, and goldfish crackers.
I love this.
Happy Baconsale Day!
Yay!
Welcome to Baconsale. I'm Joel.
I'm Kent.
And I'm Zack.
I'd like to thank you for listening to our last show, our bad road trip snacks schoolyard pick. Random.
It somehow worked out.
There has been some demand for good snacks. We'll probably have to talk about them eventually.
Is that too easy, though?
I mean,
Down the road.
maybe. So. But Spencer Larson, listener emeritus, by the way, said, I don't know how you got a hold of my dad's shopping list from every fishing trip we ever took, but thank you for bringing back some fond, stinky memories.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Also, I'm sure a nice lady, Bethany White Hilton, said sunflower seeds are awesome.
Oh, okay, bias.
The only time they're a problem is if someone decides not to join in eating them. That's their problem. or this is a big or. If a cup of shells gets spilled, which is quite disgusting. That sounds horrible.
It is.
Also, I don't think I'll ever eat a Slim Jim again.
Yeah.
Is there a story there?
It was
Utility cows,
It was
remember?
the description. Yeah, the utility cows freaked her out.
Yeah. The fact that they should be gray. And then Beaker said, well, looks like Kent would be my road trip partner because I totally got 7-Eleven nachos and buffalo wings last night before I finished listening to the episode.
Poor taste, Tim.
Why? This was not the one that you were supposed to go get the thing. Chips, I get it. Breakfast food, awesome.
Soup,
no.
we understand.
But on Twitter,
Soup.
John England said he literally stopped to buy Good and Plenty while listening.
What was up with that?
What?
Why?
I don't understand.
That was not that.
These are all bad choices.
Thanks for participating. We love it.
Don't watch movies with smoking in them, you two. Easily influenced.
Seriously.
So thank you for participating. We really appreciate it. However, I want to bring something up, Joel. You mentioned Baconsale Day.
I did.
Baconsale Day is actually coming up.
It is coming up. Well, kind of. So next week is going to be our anniversary show. We'll be inviting people on to see who's going to be the next listener for the following year. But that will be airing a little after Baconsale Day, which is technically April 15th.
Baconsale Day is
Okay.
tax day.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Bad timing.
Death, taxes, and bacon cell.
Apparently.
Okay.
But that's not what we're talking about today. What are we talking about today, Zach?
We're talking about what are we calling them? Faux-lidays?
Faux-lidays.
We're talking about holidays that are not necessarily real, coming from media, mostly TV shows.
Yeah, pop culture holidays, essentially.
Yes, because in a movie, in a TV show, sometimes they'll be like, you know what? You know, people have done the same old holidays over and over again. We're going to do something different and try to enter pop culture. And some of these have entered the real world.
Certainly.
Because of fictional things on the screen.
Mm-hmm. The reason I wanted to do this show, it's kind of a personal vendetta, to be
it's
quite
snowing.
honest with you. I'm rolling up my sleeves right now. I'm ready to fight because I've never been invited to the
You
fictional
working out?
holiday. Yeah. Okay, now I'm not ready to fight. Now I'm ready to hug. There's a holiday that we talked about in season 1 when we did a episode called Ranksgiving.
Yes.
And we ranked all the actual holidays.
We tiered the holidays.
And so we're kind of doing a continuation on that, except for pop culture. But there's one holiday that Joel brought up that it was a wild card, and it is called Hilton Day. If you've been listening to the show for any length of time, you've heard us talk about or complain about Hilton Day. And so Hilton Day is actually happening this coming week.
Yes.
And so I thought, what better to talk about fake holidays than us talking about these fake TV
No,
ones?
Hilton Day is a made-up holiday. My dad made it up because all the other holidays we were always with extended family or having to go somewhere and do something with other people. And he said, I want a holiday just for us.
I love
so
that.
So it was, kind of related to my parents' temple anniversary.
Yeah.
And so every April 12th is Hilton Day, and we used to celebrate by going out to eat at a local Mexican restaurant that we enjoy. And we'd go shopping at he called it the dead food store, but it's like a secondhand scratch dent kind of thing where we can get a lot of cheap candy. And these kids thought it was awesome. And we do something fun. And I always love that day. And so every year we celebrate Hilton Day. And Zach,
when you say we.
Zach, when you were there last year with me.
Yeah, it was great.
No, I was going to say anyone is welcome to celebrate Hilton Day. It's just we do our own little celebration.
Yeah. I've tried to go to the immediate family Hilton Day.
You've tried.
It's never worked out.
No, it hasn't worked out. But we have a list of 18 different fictional holidays from TV and film. and we're going to be tiering them. Now,
which is weird, but our tiering sometimes has logic.
sometimes it does. And this one is essentially just saying, so we have 6 tier 1s, meaning the best, 6 tier 2s in the middle, and 6 tier 3s being at the bottom.
So, for example, Joel, if you give something tier 1, what does that mean to you?
That means that I think this holiday, I would like it to exist in real life, and I would like to participate it in real life.
Yeah, it's almost like we're like, hey, government, make this a real thing.
Yeah.
Because there's like National Talk Like a Pirate Day. Why can't there be something that we're going to discuss?
Yar.
But if it's tier 2, for me, that's kind of a Friendsgiving. It's like, I'm not really behind the idea, but I'm going to go once every couple of years.
I'll check it out. I'll see what it's about, but it's not really for me.
It's like I don't want to host the party.
No.
But I'll go, but I don't really want it to be a holiday. And
then,
hey, good luck.
And then tier 3 is essentially, no, keep this as fictional because I do not want this to become a reality because it doesn't sound either fun or safe at all.
Yeah. There's a few of those.
There's a few of those. And we're going to try our best to explain these television series to you in a brief manner before we talk about the holiday, just to give you some context. But shall we jump into it then, gentlemen?
Let's do it. We're going through this list alphabetically as to not discriminate in any way, shape, or form. And this first one makes me very happy because we are going to have the opportunity to discuss SpongeBob SquarePants on Baconsale
For the first time?
with Best Friends Day.
Yep. If you don't know what SpongeBob SquarePants is, essentially it's the misadventures of a talking sea sponge who works at a fast food restaurant, attends a boating school, and lives in an underwater pineapple. You're all singing the song in your head right now, aren't you?
That was pretty good. I mean, it's okay. It was
okay.
all right.
It's fine.
So Best Friends Day takes place on February 19th. This was introduced on an episode in 2007, so it's been around for a while.
Yeah, season 4, The Gift of Gum.
Yes, and actually on this episode, the day was created to recognize and honor the relationship formed between Patrick and SpongeBob. And on the show, Patrick gives SpongeBob the gift of gum. He doesn't really like it.
Well, it's a giant ball of chewed gum with a bunch of garbage in it, like old moldy pizza, socks. This pair of underwear crawls out, goes right up to SpongeBob's face and just says, "You're not Patrick." That was the first time I've ever laughed watching a SpongeBob episode. And this
You're not a fan?
This started in like 1999 when I was going abroad, and
It's kind of like you need to be on a substance to really enjoy this,
Or
a
be a
small
kid.
child.
Yeah,
Or
small
be 9 years old like I was the day I watched the premiere of this television
Do you
show.
love it?
I
Still?
did for the first 3 seasons when I was 9, 10, and 11.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a fondness for it now.
Yeah.
For sure.
yes. And I realized something, which, by the way, it says 1999 to present.
Yeah, it's still going.
Wow. This is 13 seasons, 283 episodes.
Wow. It's like Family Guy.
It just
But cleaner.
keeps going. But I did realize something, Ken, in my study, in my viewing of this, because I do not have a lot of experience with SpongeBob SquarePants.
Neither.
This is what I've realized. This is the 90s kid generation's Ren and Stimpy.
I think so
A
too.
little less, I wouldn't say raunchy, but a little less
So
disgusting.
basically, it's like a mildly humorous show, but every time it has a weird close up, it's way too much detail on a certain
Yes.
character, and you're like, ah,
Yes.
Yeah, like they have
Had
that
some
with
Squidward.
the nasty patty, I think they called it.
Yeah.
They've have that same effect multiple times.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then SpongeBob, he tries to get rid of the ball of gum, but then Patrick keeps showing up and be like, why are you getting rid of my gift?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, he gave Patrick like a butler robot, which was a great gift.
It's amazing. In fact, that is the tradition behind the holiday. You're meant to celebrate your best friend. And granted, this is right after Valentine's Day. And I know a lot of people don't love the commercialism of Valentine's Day. And I think what better time to celebrate just having a best friend and getting them something that they appreciate, because that's what's meant to happen on this holiday.
But here's the problem, Kent. What happens when you give a gift to someone and one, they don't give you a gift back because you're not their best friend? Or two, another friend finds out that you gave your best friend a gift and they didn't get one.
Is this one of those things where you are guilted into getting everyone gifts?
I would feel obligated to get both Zack and you a gift.
Who would you get a gift for first?
I put that in order for a reason.
Thank you. Yes. My wife actually asked me earlier this week who my best friend was.
You better have said her.
It was her.
Okay, good.
No, that's the thing is I've never appreciated the title of best friend because I feel like it can often be one-sided. Do you know how many people, including listener of this podcast, who think that like Kent is their best friend? Because Kent can't say no to anybody.
Because I just throw myself out there,
He
right?
gets around.
Yeah, indeed.
I'll friend you.
But with this one, a best friend's day,
It's not a malicious one at all.
no. And this is essentially you just get someone a gift.
It's difficult.
I give this one a tier 1
Oh,
because even with the pitfalls, I could keep it, kind of under the radar.
You would like to make this real.
I would like to make it real. I would like to make Best Friend's Day a real holiday.
based on what you were saying, I was thinking it's going to be a tier 2 for you.
It would have been, but it kind of got bumped up because other stuff I wanted less. Yeah. Because this is a dangerous minefield of who's your best friend. So maybe I'd call it Friends Day, and then we're we'd sit around in a coffee shop and talk endlessly and make innuendos.
Just whisper, "You're my best friend."
Be like, "Hey, you got like a secondary gift because you're a friend.
You're
my best friend."
All I know is that my best friend is listening to this podcast right now.
I'm right here.
You're awesome.
I'm like, I'm listening. And he chose me second. Yeah, I give it a tier 1 as well. Just barely scratch the surface because there are a lot worse choices than this. And this one, it's fine. It's not even dangerous.
It's a little
and
dangerous.
I do think it should be kind of gag gifts. Like it should be cheaper.
Oh yeah,
gifts.
what happens then if you get your friend a Rolex and they give you like a hand, you give them a hand buzzer?
If you're best friends, you understand each other. You understand that the boundaries of for a certain dollar amount.
Hey Kent, where's that blanket we got you that had a cat on it?
Don't worry about it.
Best friend day.
I got it from a good acquaintance.
No. All right. Now we are going to celebrate Boonta Eve.
Now, this one comes from the Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. If you didn't know, the Boonta Eve Classic,
the Boonta Eve Classic is the pod race.
Is the pod race. That's why they're doing it, because it's Boonta Eve. They're going to celebrate Boonta.
I really wish we gave some of these names to Zack to read.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because Boonta the Hutt, his name is quite long.
Oh, no. Nope.
Oh, yeah. Here, why don't you read the last line? Just read the origins section verbatim. Go ahead. Right there, origins.
An annual holiday and festival celebrated on the desert planet of Tatooine during the last decades of the Old Republic and the time of the New Republic. It honored the rise of Boonta Heldistilik Shaduru,
family friendly,
to godhood.
Yes. So essentially, the Hutts were a slug-like race of creatures.
Yeah.
And one of them, apparently when they died, ascended to godhood.
Well, and there was a human Despacito. His name was Zim, and
Invader? That's why we're best friends.
Boonta. I'm hurt. Tier 3 for Best Friends Day, because now I need to find one. But Boonta took over at that point. And Boonta Eve sounds fun because it is week-long fireworks during the day and during the night.
Oh, Kent, you sound so excited for this.
There are pod races, okay?
I'm in right there.
The pod race, which was one of the biggest moments in the prequel series, as we know.
So it's like
you say biggest or longest?
It's like fireworks in NASCAR.
Hey, Kent, can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
What's one of your least favorite real holidays here in America?
4th of July.
Why do you hate 4th of July, Kent?
Just people care too much about parades and fireworks.
Oh, that's funny because these fireworks go day and night.
Listen,
constant fire. There's no curfew. Day and night fireworks.
Yeah, and that's annoying. And that would be so much Neil Diamond and Celine Dion.
Come into Tatooine.
But and it's not here. I wanted to mention this too. It's not just limited to Episode 1, Phantom Menace. It is also in Chapter 18 of The Mandalorian, The Mines of Mandalore. They make reference to Boonta Eve. So it's still being celebrated.
Oh, weird. A strange Star Wars cameo in Mandalorian.
Is that season 3?
Yes, I think so.
I haven't seen it.
Nobody's watching.
I haven't seen it.
Okay, so there are plenty of traditions that happen on this day. This is a day that is meant to celebrate the slaves obeying the Hutts.
Yeah, a crime family.
Yeah, and so it's kind of a dangerous thing. In fact, there are
Jabba
many
the Hutt
games.
is a hut. If you don't know, you picture that in your head. Jabba the Hutt.
For example, one of the games they do is they force Taiwanese prisoners to run while the Hutts wager on the results. And the stragglers in each heat are put to death until there's one sole survivor.
Jeez.
Okay, so that's a little heinous. You guys have seen the pod races, right? Quite a few people or creatures die.
Yep.
Okay.
Most of them are slaves.
But there are slaves that are given a feast and gifts from their masters. So that's kind of cool for a week. Sure doesn't make for a great holiday, though. I think it's like a reprieve. Their calendar is 368 days, not 365.
Yeah.
So we don't actually know when this takes place on the calendar.
No.
But really, it's just like a big parade and the pod race and the fireworks.
And also a week-long celebration full of drinking and revelry.
Yes. But you could also be killed.
You could also be killed, but you could do that on the 4th of July, too.
That's so true.
You not played with firecrackers?
Yeah, it's Darwin for sure. But this gets a tier 3 for me.
Oh.
Because Tatooine, I've seen way too much of it on Disney Plus already. I'd hate to be there. Good chances I would be serving underneath the Hutts, and I would be put in these games and possibly put to death based on my sportsmanship.
We're playing a little differently on this game, Ken, because you're imagining you're going there to celebrate. I'm imagining this coming to the real world. And I think to myself, this is a week-long celebration, constant fireworks, having a good time, pod racing here in this world. Yes, please.
So you're okay with like back in the day, the Coliseum, when they put people to death for your entertainment?
You know what? Origins aren't as important.
The real world people who are actually dying, and you're cheering
Kent,
on.
I'm not chanting what is it? The Sanhedrin.
Sebulba.
Yeah, no. For Halloween, I'm not doing the whole ritual of what it was back then. It's what it is now.
Yeah, and we don't need these kind of practices here.
I don't need.
Do you want the Hutts to take over here?
They're not going to take over here. We're just we're appropriating the Hut culture
Go on.
because we're just celebrating to celebrate, and it's like, oh yeah, they do this over there. Like St. Patrick's Day, they don't celebrate that in Ireland. That's celebrated here. So we're just going to take their holiday and make it our own.
You think in modern days they're going to be like, hey, those slug slavers, we should appropriate their holiday?
Kent, they've already made it big here. Have you not ever eaten at Pizza Hut?
Oh my gosh.
Pizza the Hut.
Joel, what do you give it?
I gave it a tier 1.
You could die.
No,
even being
I'm
in the
not
crowd, they're like, you're playing.
I'm not here, Kent. I'm just watching the pod race, maybe
Listen.
goofing around a bit, and there's fireworks. It's just basically a
For an
week-long
entire
party
week?
with fireworks.
Imagine dogs around the world.
I don't have any dogs.
Oh, that's so sad. They'd be scared for a week. Tier 3.
No, the Hutts have created doggy headphones.
Okay. You worship the Hutts.
A little bit.
You're going to keep this fictional? Tier 3?
Yeah, it's tier 3.
All right. Now we have from the OC, Chrismukkah.
Yes, so the OC, here's the plot synopsis. A troubled youth becomes embroiled in the lives of a close-knit group of people in the wealthy upper-class neighborhood of Newport Beach, Orange County, California. So it should be called the OCC. Orange County, California, right?
No, that's not how it works.
Oh.
No, not at all.
And this has Misha Barton, Adam Brody, Peter Gallagher.
It's just really one of
I don't know much about the show, Ken. You should be introducing it.
I love this show. I don't know why, because it's one of those teen dramas that it was early 2000s era.
2003 to 2007.
But I absolutely loved it.
Did you watch all 4 seasons and 92 episodes?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
The first 2 seasons are really good, and I'll leave it there. But Seth Cohen introduces something that is kind of become actually sort of real. By the way, Seth Cohen is the character name played by Adam Brody. He basically comes from 2 parents that are Protestant and Jewish. And he says, let's bring it all together. Let's make this a holiday for everyone. We got a Christmas tree and we have a menorah. It is kind of like how Christmas season, the happy holiday season is anyways.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's a celebration of everything, and this is just trying to include everyone.
Now, this was featured on season 1, episode 13, the best Chrismukkah ever. Mm-hmm. It was also on season 4, episode 4, the Chrismukkah, season 2, episode 6, the Chrismukkah that almost wasn't, and season 3, episode 10, the Chrismukkah bar mitzvahkah. That was hard for me to say.
Yeah, that
I
is
should
hard
have
to say.
Zack to do that. But this was invented by little 5-year-old Seth when he was 5 years old, because he said he wanted to be 8 days of presents followed by lots of presents.
Yes, it's 8 days of presents followed by 1 day of many presents.
That's what it is, yes.
You spend Christmas Day eating Chinese takeout and watching movies like It's a Wonderful Life and then Fiddler on the Roof. Mm-hmm. So you got to collaborate the two. I think this is the best of both worlds, though.
That's Hannah Montana.
The New York Catholic League and the New York Board of Rabbis disagree because they issued a press release condemning the holiday, saying it's insulting to Jews and Christians. I disagree. I think this is very inclusive. I think
Being both? What?
You would wear a yarmulke clause?
I would definitely wear yarmulke claws.
This is
So
the
the
man,
yarmulke with like the Santa hat.
this is the man with the Instagram post saying Aloha Hanukkah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you love
I
it.
love the collaboration here. I think it's great because it's a way to say happy holidays, but it's a specific holiday, and it's 9 days of presents.
That
This
a lot
is
of-
this is a
that would
tier 1
break
for me.
a parent.
Yeah.
Although I assume the 8 days of presents probably smaller presents.
Yeah. Well, that's generally how Hanukkah is anyway.
Tier 1 from you?
Yes.
And also they have a Chrismukkah song, which is set to Death Cab for Cutie's A Lack of Color.
Because it's the OC.
Of course it is.
Because it's
Yeah.
the early 2000s.
Yeah.
And one of the phrases that made me laugh, because I watched some clips of this, because I have no concept of the OC. And at one point, the blonde kid, what's his name?
Ryan.
He gets mad and kind of walks out. And Adam Brody just goes, "Oi, humbug."
See, that's gold.
Made me laugh.
It's not even a comedic show, but that's funny.
But if there's a holiday to include more people into
Yeah.
this, I'm all for it. This is a tier 1 for me.
Yes.
I would be fine with Chrismukkah being celebrated around here. I'd love to play with a dreidel.
yeah.
And as I'm sitting there under the Christmas tree.
What you say? If you've seen that show,
Yeah.
you know it. Now we from Arrested Development we have Cinco de Cuatro.
Joel, what does Cinco de Cuatro stand for?
Well, here's the weird thing. Cinco de Cuatro would be 5 of 4.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they don't even spell cuatro right. They spell it with a C instead of a Q.
That's
And
the joke.
That's the joke. And so this, if you don't know what Arrested Development is. The good seasons are, here's a story of a family who lost everything and the one son who had no choice but to keep them all together. It's Arrested Development. The later seasons are essentially, so the first 3 seasons of Arrested Development are what you should watch. I would not recommend watching seasons 4 or 5. However, if you want, that was good. If you want to know about Cinco de Cuatro, you need to watch. It's all of season 4 is Cinco de Cuatro. It's all about that.
Well, have you watched the new? They re-edited.
Yes, they re-edited because no one liked how everyone was separate during season 4, and so they re-edited it to kind of put all the storylines together.
Better, for sure.
And this holiday started because George and Lucille Bluth,
Back in 1982.
who live in Newport Beach, they were mad because of all their help taking Cinco de Mayo off because all their help was Latino.
Because they're horrible people.
Because they're horrible people. Like it's Kristen Wiig and Seth Rogen in this. And she's wearing green makeup and acting like a Grinch. But their plan is to have a party on the 4th of May.
And buy up all the supplies.
And use all the supplies so that they don't have any party supplies on the 5th of May. However,
and is that Cinco de Mayo, Cinco de Cuatro?
Yeah, they didn't even get the name
Cuatro
right.
de Mayo.
Yeah, because Cinco de Mayo means 5th of May. If you don't know, but the funny thing is, the festival grew over the years and was embraced by the Hispanic community. So then it became this whole let's just party 2 days. Let's party 2 days. And there's a festival of lights, and there's a boat parade. The boat parade is the festival of lights, and they have lots of parties and celebrations and music.
And because it's like so American, instead of La Cucaracha, they sing the cockroach.
Yes. Although this has kind of taken hold in the real world because a lot of people on the 4th of May will celebrate the show Arrested Development by eating
Star Wars?
Frozen. Well, yeah, that's another group of people. That's the 4th. May the 4th.
Honestly, both dipped in quality, but at this point, I'm more Arrested Development.
But
Good
people
call.
celebrate by eating frozen bananas and cornballs, and they kind of make it about
cornballs kind of dangerous.
Yeah. Oh, soy loco por los cornballs. I'd like a skip scramble personally. But the show is hilarious. This plot line, not great, but I tell you what, 2 days of partying. I love Cinco de Mayo. It's my excuse to be like, I'm just going to eat Mexican food all day.
Totally.
I love Mexican food. But I'm going to give this a tier 1.
It is a tier 1.
Simply because
Really?
it's 2 days of Cinco de Mayo.
Joel has loved this list.
It's right. It's already a good holiday.
worse.
Sure. So why not make 2 days of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Illusions, Michael.
Although if we do bring in Cinco de Cuatro in real life, that would take away from May the 4th.
Yeah. We'll just have to keep the decorations up.
Although I'm going to do them both. I'm going to eat some Mexican food that is also
relive
Star
it
Wars
the next day?
That is also Star Wars themed, and make 7 Leia.
Oh, here
dip.
he goes. Just because he worships Bunta.
7 Leia dip.
Oh,
get it?
Move on from this.
Dad jokes.
We're down with Fraggle Rock now for Festival of the Bells.
Fraggle Rock. I like this episode because we're talking about shows that we really don't talk about much on Bacon.
It's kind of a catch-all. Let's be real. So I'm not familiar with Fraggle Rock really at all.
You didn't watch Fraggle Rock?
Maybe an episode or two. I found him kind of creepy and annoying.
They are the lesser Muppets.
Fair.
If you don't know the plot of Fraggle Rock in general, the adventures of the various inhabitants of an underground civilization. These are little puppets that live underground in a big stone rock.
So what I read about this, so it was introduced in an episode in 1984, but the Fraggles hold this festival at the Bell of the Heart of the Rock. This is where I'm like, I guess I don't understand anything about the Fraggles.
Oh, I didn't
There's
understand
a bell
this
at the
either.
heart of the rock to keep the rock moving.
Yes.
And so they want to keep awakening the bell because the rock always needs to be rolling.
So I was confused when I read about this episode. So I watched the episode, which is season 3, episode 22, The Bells of Fraggle Rock.
Okay.
It's on Disney Plus. No, it's not on Disney Plus. It was on Apple TV.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Which is weird. It wasn't on Disney Plus. But I was like, I don't understand what's going on here. But it is the Fraggles winter solstice celebration. When things start to get cold and they're celebrating Christmas, the real people, the big people up in the real world are celebrating that holiday. They say that the rock that they live in slows down as the solstice approaches. And the only thing I can think of is like the earth slowing down because there's not like a moving rock or anything. But then there's a great bell that they need to wake up by ringing a bell. So they stand around and they ring their bells, and then the big bell starts ringing, and then they move.
But if we were to go to one of these parties, Joel, like if we go to a festival of the bells, we would have to get in a costume. It's a Weeba Beast.
Yes, because the Weeba Beast guarded the rock in the days when it was small, and after layers of rock covered the great bell, they didn't need it anymore.
And Zach, imagine like a Chinese dragon where there's like 5 people in the costume.
Yeah.
But it's made out of hay and has like a really low budget Sesame Street like monster mask on the front.
Yeah.
And we would have to say Weeba Weeba.
It's like Weeba Weeba. I watched the episode today.
Yeah. Was it annoying?
Well, the one guy couldn't get on beat, and so that was a little annoying. That's the whole point.
And I'm sure they had a song dedicated to Festival of the Bells, right?
Yeah, so this is a weird episode because they're trying to be really deep, and I'm talking the puppeteers here, like the writers. They're trying to be really deep because in this episode, they keep talking about the Great Bell in the middle, but no one's ever seen it. And then one person's like, I'm going to go find it. I have this map. And they go and look, and there's no bell. It's just an empty cave. And then he's like, well, what does that mean? And then he goes back up, and all his friends are frozen because they didn't ring their little bells. And so then they all ring their little bells, and he's like, oh, I was looking for the center of the bell, but really should have been looking for the heart of the bell. And the heart of the bell is all of us.
Oh, I hate that so much.
And I kind of went, I get kind of what you're going for, but this is
imagine
really weird.
Going to your neighbors who is holding a Festival of the Bells party.
Yeah.
And they're just ringing bells, and they make you get in this Weeba Beast costume.
Yes.
Would you be into that?
Well, okay. Am I in college, and are there girls involved?
No, you're married, and it's getting weird.
Nah, I'm out.
Yeah, I'm out as well.
Yeah, this is a tier 3 for me.
There are a lot of things where I'd like to be a spectator and go, oh my gosh, this is the weirdest party. I can't wait to tell this story later. But this is something I would not want to take part of.
This Fraggle Rock is a slower show. It's a lesser Muppet show. I still enjoyed it as a kid, but watching it again, I was like, that's right. This is kind of slow.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, not a fan.
Okay, tier 3 for us, bowl.
I'm down on Fraggle Rock.
Keeping it fictional. Now we have from Seinfeld, Festivus.
A Festivus for the rest of us. So Seinfeld, you probably know what it is, but if you don't, because I've actually found out some people these days haven't watched Seinfeld at all. It's hilarious.
Zach, have you seen it?
Yes.
The continuing misadventures of
You're my barometer, by the way.
New York City stand-up comedian Jerry Seinfeld is equally neurotic New York City friends. This has got Jerry Seinfeld, Julia Dreyfus, Jason Alexander, Michael Richards.
So this was shown on the Seinfeld episode, The Strike. This came out in 1997.
The 10th and final season, the 9th episode of the 10th season.
Oh, wow. So in this episode, George gets a Festivus card from his dad, his crazy dad, and he doesn't want to talk about it with the rest of the crew. And then Kramer really gets into the idea, and they decide to celebrate it. And then George brings his boss to the Festivus celebration.
Well, because he's trying to get time off.
Yeah.
So he's like, he didn't want to contribute to a Christmas fund. And they're like, why not?
Because it's George.
Because he's cheap. But then he makes up this, it's because he doesn't make it up. He makes this excuse like, it's because my family doesn't celebrate Christmas. We celebrate Festivus, which is a holiday his dad really did celebrate. But his boss didn't believe him, so he brings him to the house to see how it goes
Did you read
down.
the backstory on this?
Yeah.
So the writer of this episode, his dad created Festivus, but just kind of like Hilton Day, just for the family.
Yeah, it's actually, he was hesitant to bring it up, but the writers, once they heard about it, they're like, we got to put that in the show because it's a real thing.
Yeah.
Not exactly like it's portrayed on the show. So, for example, they have a metal pole in Seinfeld.
Right.
But they don't have a metal pole in the real Festivus. In the real world, Daniel O'Keefe is the dad, and then Dan O'Keefe was the writer on Seinfeld.
Yep.
But Daniel, the dad, instead of a metal pole, he would place a clock in a bag and nail it to the wall.
What?
And when he asked him about it, when the son asked his dad about it, he said, "Why do you do that?" And he says, "I don't know what it means. I don't know what it means. You won't tell me." And his dad would say, "That's not for you to know."
Okay. So
Wow.
here's the real world scenario. Zach is throwing Festivus.
The real version, the Seinfeld version
Yes,
of the real.
Of course
version.
I am.
Yeah.
So Zach is going to have for the dinner a reddish meatloaf-shaped food on a bed of lettuce.
It's probably just meatloaf.
But then, much like Frank did, you're going to have the airing of grievances. And everyone, so this is right after dinner, you're going to start, and everyone is going to tell everyone else the ways that they have disappointed them over the past year.
Yep.
Joel, you said I'm not your best friend. Here's why
When?
that upsets me. And so we're going to go around and just kind of badmouth each other, okay? But then, you being the host to Zach, we would then have the feats of strength. And you would choose one person for a wrestling match. And the holiday only ends when someone has pinned you.
When someone is pinned the head of the household, then Festivus ends.
This would be a short,
Or your wife. Is your wife the head of the household?
This would be a short holiday. Let's just say that.
I used to backyard wrestle, so...
Yeah. The spelling bee has taken me down.
Yeah. So, Joel, we go to Zach's house. Is this something you want to do yearly? Is this something that you would want to do every once in a while? Is this a holiday you would like to see come to fruition?
I think this episode is one of the funniest ones out there.
I agree.
And I love how it has kind of permeated real world where people will celebrate Festivus.
Right.
I don't know if I want to be a part of it, but I'm okay with it being around. Therefore, I'm giving this a tier 2.
Oh, that's so sad.
I just don't want to sit around and air my grievances with everyone. The feats of strength could be fun. Metal poles.
But don't you think sometimes you need to decompress? in the biggest way possible.
In front of everyone?
Hurt feelings and everything.
After eating a reddish meatloaf-like substance on a bed of lettuce?
Listen, Zach, I'm coming every year. I would want this thing to be a real holiday because this is the idea behind this is to fight against the commercialism of the holiday. And so I like that in principle.
Yeah.
Granted, it doesn't bring it back to any like significance.
No.
It just kind of fights against the commercialism of Christmas.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a tier 1 for me.
Wow.
You want this then?
It'd be fun.
Okay. We're just going to do some feats of strength here on Baconsale after the recording's over, and we'll see if it's going to be any fun.
I will also lose there. Now, from Parks and Rec, it's Galentine's Day.
So Galentine's Day. Well, let's talk about Parks and Rec first. Parks and Rec is the absurd antics of an Indiana town's public officials as they pursue sundry projects to make their city a better place. And this has Amy Poehler, Rashida Jones, Nick Offerman, Aubrey Plaza, Chris Pratt.
Yeah, but some of those people aren't included in Galentine's Day, which is February 13th. This is introduced in an episode in 2010. And here's my question. Galentine's Day exists.
It does.
Is it because of the show?
Yes.
What?
This show has probably permeated more than others because I've seen so many Galentine's posts. And people do it. By the way, I wanted to point this out, is that this Galentine's Day party is featured in 3 different episodes of Parks and Rec. Season 2, Episode 16, Galentine's Day. Season 4, Episode 14, Operation N. And Season 6, Episode 17, Galentine's Day.
Yep.
What?
They have 2 episodes with the same title. They couldn't even say like more Galentine's Day. That bothered me. That bothered me.
Put a 2 in there somewhere?
Yeah. Galentine's 2A.
So Leslie Note puts it, every February 13th, my lady friends and I leave our husbands and our boyfriends at home, and we just come home and kick it, breakfast style. Ladies celebrating ladies. It's like Lilith Fair, minus the angst.
Yep.
Plus frittatas.
There's also a couple of sayings, plus frittatas. There's a couple of sayings that go with it, such as uteruses before deuteruses, and ovaries.
I need to watch
before,
this show.
Ovaries before brovaries. I watched 2 of these episodes out of the 3, just barely, just to get run up on it again.
I mean, there's a little too much early morning drinking in this holiday.
Lots of mimosas involved in this.
But there's a lot of waffles as well.
Yes, it's a breakfast. It's
I like
brunch.
how we're talking about this. 3 guys doing a podcast. Were we invited to Galentine's Day?
No, we are not. This is ladies celebrating ladies. But I do.
But do
feel
we
like,
support the holiday being spent?
I feel like it's a fine holiday to have, but the day before Valentine's Day, that just seems too crowded for me.
Well, what if someone isn't celebrating Valentine's Day? Shouldn't they get a holiday of their own?
Yeah, but
this is like our best friend's day.
for those people,
or should I say your and Zach's best friend's day?
Yeah.
But for those people that have to celebrate 2 days in a row like this, or have to,
Sure.
I don't know. It seems like a bit much to be crammed together. And since I'm not personally going to be participating in it, I give it a tier 2.
It is a tier 2. I support the holiday. I think it should exist and kind of does exist now.
It kind of does.
Because I won't be there. I'll be really sad.
We can have Galentine's Day.
Oh, I hate that so much. What about Palentine's Day?
Yes, I've actually...
Galentine's or Palentine's?
I have celebrated Palentine's before. Yes. Now we head over to 30 Rock for Leap Day.
Liz Lemon, head writer of the sketch comedy show TGS with Tracy Jordan, must deal with an arrogant new boss and a crazy new star while trying to run a successful television show without losing her mind. And this has Tina Fey, Alec Baldwin, Tracy Morgan, Jane Krakowski, and Jack McBrayer.
Shocker, this is February 29th, every 4 years.
Yep, this is a Leap Day celebration. And the funny thing about this episode, which was just called Leap Day, is that the whole premise is that Liz Lemon, all these people are celebrating leap year, and she's like, what the heck is this? But everyone knows about it but her. Because she grew up in kind of a place where they just celebrated Amish holidays, and then she was missing the last couple of leap years because it only happens once every 4 years. But Ken, you want to tell them a little bit about the origins or the traditions?
So it derives from Jack's dream sequence after he eats rhubarb leaves, and he's visited in his dream by a guild creature named Leap Day William.
Yes.
Who surfaces from, get this, the Mariana Trench to trade in children's tears for candy.
Yeah, so the first time Liz Lemon walks out of her office and she sees Kenneth the Page, but he's dressed up in like what's the little straw hats that people wear?
Like Music Man hats.
Yeah, the little straw hats people wear.
Straw hats.
Music Man.
Sure.
But he's all in blue and yellow, and that's like a theme of the color. And all the staff is sitting around him going, boo-hoo, boo-hoo, and he's throwing candy at them and singing a Leap Day Williams song. She's like, what is this? But the whole point, it's like it's got a little bit of St. Patrick's in it, because if you're not wearing blue and yellow garb, then you get poked in the eye or your hair pulled. Or in Boston, you get your foot stomped and you get kicked in the knee. So it varies where you're at.
So we go to work. the three of us go to work, and they're celebrating Leap Day every 4 years. And you have to wear blue or yellow. You have to try new things. You have to eat slices of rhubarb.
Yeah.
And there is a motto probably on the wall that says, nothing on Leap Day matters because real life is for March.
Yep. Because that's what the whole point is. This day doesn't count, so you do things you wouldn't normally do, like ask the pretty girl out. Or, at one point he's trying a new thing. And I don't want to give spoilers.
So I'm one of these people that purposely doesn't wear green on St. Patrick's Day.
But why?
Because I'm an anarchist.
But why not just set the day apart from any other day?
No, because everyone wears green and looks for the green. And so I don't.
I wear green 2 days a week, so it's not a big deal for me.
And I want to get pinched.
Well, you don't get pinched. You get your eye poked.
See,
you get your eye poked and your hair pulled.
But the way that Kent just shifted his eyes a little bit was adorable and creepy at the same time.
I'm also going to point this out.
welcome.
There's Leap Day bonuses.
There is?
Just like a Christmas bonus, you get a leap year bonus. And also, in addition to that, they made a movie based in the show.
Okay.
They made a movie within the show starring Jim Carrey and Andy McDowell. And it's called Leap Dave William. And it's about a guy who is slowly becoming a Leap Day William. And it's like Jim Carrey is getting gills and he starts growing a mustache. It's like a Santa Claus thing where he keeps trying to get rid of it and keeps coming back. But it is one of those making fun of all those cliche Christmas movies. And you keep getting clips of it through the whole thing. Also, there's one of my favorite lines in there because he's talking. Jack Donaghy, the boss, is talking about all the different people who are celebrating Leap Day. Because Liz is like, what is it about? And he says, well, except for so-and-so. He's a Mormon. You know how they are about Leap Day.
That's pretty good. A lot of holidays come down to food, and I guess rhubarb. It kind of depends on your love of rhubarb.
And it's not even rhubarb party. They have straight up stalks of rhubarb.
Which when I was like 7, playing in my grandma's field, eat rhubarb, that was fine. I think as an adult, I don't know if I could do that anymore. It is a tier 2 for me because I would like to see it happen. It would be weird, but I would cry for candy.
Yeah. They just either go boo-hoo, boo-hoo, and they throw candy at them like in parades and stuff. And people are all dressed up in blue and yellow. Here's the thing, guys.
I know it's a special day.
It is a special day for me because my wife is a leap year baby.
Isn't that crazy?
And so every 4 years we do big celebration. And so
she's so young.
She is. I would absolutely love to have a celebration on that day to help celebrate her. And she even did say, because she watched the episode with me, she went, guess gonna have to wear blue and yellow my next birthday. Yeah. So I'm giving this a tier 1 because I think a Leap Day would be a fun day to celebrate.
You're biased.
Now we return to the Star Wars universe.
A lot of holidays coming out of there.
For Life Day.
Yes.
And this
the infamous Life Day.
This was first introduced in the Star Wars Holiday Special back in 1978.
The date of Life Day is November 17th every year.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's traditionally held at the Tree of Life on the forested Wookiee homeworld of Kashyyyk? I never say that right. Kashyyyk. People always get after me about pronunciations.
Lord of the Rings show, anyone?
So originally it was held on Chewbacca's home planet. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah.
But then people started celebrating it everywhere because it is a celebration of family and joy and harmony, values and tenets of the Wookiee culture.
Celebrating both new life and remembering those who have passed on as well.
They did also reference it again in the Lego Star Wars Holiday Special. Yeah. And I think there was another reference to it too, but I can't remember where it was right now.
The Mandalorian was referenced, I believe.
If you've never seen the Holiday Special, I want to point this out right now. It is bad.
It's really bad.
It is horribly bad. The first 20 minutes are Wookiees talking to each other with no subtitles. So just...
Oh, freaking lumpy.
Oh, and itchy.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So it's a terrible...
no, it's so funny
show.
though. It's just a product of its time.
No, and I know that Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher, they all said, "What were we thinking?"
Well, they were on something for sure. Carrie Fisher does a song for Life Day to the tune of the Star Wars theme.
You also got B. Arthur in there. She does,
because they were giving gifts, and there's a music box essentially, and it's holograms of 80s rock stars.
There's
and
that
comedians.
There's also a VR thing.
Yeah.
There's also a cooking show they watch. It is this. It's a variety show. It was the late 70s. They're doing this variety show, but with Star Wars theme, and it is terrible. But this holiday actually is kind of nice.
So you would be fine chewing the roots of the Orga plant. Obviously, spending time with family is great. Launching fireworks, consuming Wookiee cookies, and Hoth chocolate.
Yes,
Hoth chocolate. I love that so much.
Hoth chocolate.
And there are presents exchanged.
Why would they
as
drink
well
Hoth
as singing.
chocolate on Kashyyyk?
Because it was a pun, and someone like you wrote it.
Probably. But they mark the day with festive decor, lights, feasts, music, and it's all trying to...
Okay.
They're all reminded of compassion.
But we show up to this party it feels a little culty. There are red robes that we have to wear. We have to hold the Life Day orbs and kind of shine together.
Twinkling
and
string
sing the
lights,
songs.
unique food, drink, music, items, celebration. This is lovely, Kent.
Doesn't it seem weird, though?
A little.
And don't you think he gets like tired of itchy and lumpy?
I'm hanging with Wookiees. I think that's pretty cool in itself.
Is it?
Yeah.
You get fleas.
They don't have fleas on Kashiki.
Nice try. But this is a tier 1 because it's Life Day, and it needs to be tier 1 because it needs, I think, more love because that holiday special is that bad.
It's so bad.
It's like ironic
so
love
bad.
for this holiday.
And Mark Hamill looks horrible.
Yeah.
It's like he's had 10 pounds of makeup put on. Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Joel?
Tier 1 for me as well.
Tier 1.
It's a fun festive thing, and if I can hang out on with Wookiees, I think that's going to be fun.
What's the planet called again?
Kashyyyk.
Okay, good job.
Kashyyyk.
Yeah, because it's K-A-S.
It's actually called khakis.
Yeah. It's just so you know, listener, it's spelled Kashyyk. YYYK. There's 3 Y's.
Why?
Why is there 3 Y's?
So that's a lovely day, very heartwarming, as is our next holiday. From The Purge, it's Purge Night.
Sorry for all of you who are driving. If you don't know what Purge is, imagine you're sitting there at home, and all of a sudden you hear that siren go off. And after the siren, you hear a voice say, "Okay, everyone, everything is legal
All
for the
crime
next
is now
12
legal."
hours."
So this starts on March 21st at 7 p.m. and ends March 22nd at 7 a.m.
Oh.
And let's go back into
Stinks for everyone who has a birthday on
In
that day.
March?
in March. Is March a good month?
No.
Yes.
Right.
I'd rather commit crime in like June.
Oh, really? When it's a little bit warmer
it's
for
too
you?
hot in June. Can we do it in like
we're not
September?
talking July.
I'm kind
September.
of a staycationer, so
When-
I would stay inside.
When do you want to commit murder, listener?
Okay.
Early
this,
June?
This begs the question. It's not like it says commit murder. It says all crime is legal.
Oh.
What crimes you doing,
I would
guys?
just speed everywhere.
Ken
I would
doesn't-
drive so fast.
Doesn't matter what the government says because someone is always watching. That's my wife.
Wait, so your wife is always watching?
No, but so there are, how many Purge movies are there? Like 7 of
There's
them?
6.
6 of them. Going on 7, I think. They're going to do another one, I heard. But it is, they organized this because they were like trying this experiment where, okay, if we do all the crime here in these 12
Get
hours,
it out of your system.
it'll be out of the system and then they'll be good for the rest of the time.
And it kind of worked for a time.
It was down to like 1% crime rate, I think they said.
But
in
then
the,
obviously,
in the movies.
movies get into it. They get worse and worse as they go.
But there are rules to this.
There definitely are.
Because, for example, the sirens will start and end the purge. So if you hear the siren, that means go or stop. You can't do anything after that. All police, fire, and medical emergency services are suspended for the duration. The president, first family, and government officials of rank 10 are granted immunity, so you can't harm them. And then weapons class 1 through 4 are permitted, whereas class 5, such as explosives, are prohibited. Can't blow
And
things
if
up.
you violate these rules, it will result in public execution.
Whoa.
So there still are rules. So not all crime is legal.
Well, they break all the rules in the movies. I once said, and this was right when I became single many years ago, and I said if the purge was real, I would kiss every girl.
You creep.
Well, it's
It wouldn't
legal.
help you. It's legal, but it still would creep them out.
So in your case, the purge is real. Just saying.
Wow.
It's taken a while, but I've made the purge real in my heart.
Yeah.
Fun fact, by the way, this is a dark film series. This is not
Yeah.
a happy film series, but it is inspired by a Star Trek original series episode called "The Return of the Archons," where they do have to see this peaceful planet, but then they find out that they have a night of violence during festival where they can do anything they want.
It's like you could stay inside, you could go steal a TV from Walmart, you could do whatever you want, but it's just too much of a risk. And that's why it is a tier 3 and should stay fictional.
But that's
Please
exactly
bless.
what you said, Ken. Is like,
Yeah.
well, you don't have to commit murder,
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, but as soon as I walk out that door, I'm opening myself to being murdered.
Totally. And it's fine.
And
it's
I
totally fine.
don't want that. So this is a
That
tier
is
3.
really low on my list as well.
Yeah, I'd rather not get
Oh, the
murdered.
purge night is really low?
No, just getting murdered.
Yeah.
Well, and also,
Rather
you
not.
guys know me. I have such a guilty conscience every way of doing anything wrong. So it's like, even if I went up and like, I'm going to go punch that car window or break that car window, I'd still feel guilty and probably the next be like, I'm sorry, that was
Would
me.
you really? You would
Probably.
Be like,
You
okay,
would leave a
kids,
note.
we're ready to celebrate Purge Day. Jaywalk.
No,
That's it.
I'd do that. I would do that.
And
Okay.
I'd throw away my recycling in the non-recycling bin. What?
I like kissing people, but not to get murdered.
So yeah, tier 3 for me as well. I do not want the purge to happen in real life. Please don't do it.
Please no. Now from dinosaurs We have Refrigerator Day.
The show follows the life of a family of dinosaurs living in the modern world. They have televisions, refrigerators, etc. The only humans around are cavemen who are viewed as pets and wild animals.
I watched this episode today.
So did I.
And I had my girls here, and I said, hey, we're going to watch a show I loved as a kid.
Yeah.
This episode came out in 1993. And I started, they got 20 seconds in, and they were on their iPads. They're like, I'm creeped out by what's on the TV. We're going upstairs.
Because these are full-size puppets. Like,
They're suits.
Yeah, they're suits. These actors are wearing these foam suits that look like dinosaurs, and the faces are all animated and animatronic. But then they're everyday situation. It's like the Flintstones, but the Flintstones were dinosaurs.
Yes.
Did I make it? Does that make it better to reference an older show for a newer show?
Well, Flintstones is the one people have seen, so I think that's more than fine.
Yeah. I discovered something you guys, I know Kent saw it at least. I found out something that just blew my mind. And that was the voice of the mom dinosaur of Fran, I believe her name is Jessica Walters, who plays Lucille Bluth on Arrested Development.
Yeah.
And I think the reason I noticed is because I was watching it while working. And so it was in the background. I wasn't looking. I was just hearing the voices. And I went, that voice sounds familiar. Who is that? I looked it up and I was like, it's Lucille Bluth.
Yeah.
Blew my mind.
This is essentially Christmas for the dinosaurs.
Yes.
Except for they sit around the refrigerator and kind of praise what the refrigerator
they
has
decorate
done.
the refrigerator as a Christmas tree.
And in the episode, the family's refrigerator is repossessed because he spent too much money on gifts, and they came and took his refrigerator because he had no more money.
Well, he didn't get his refrigerator day bonus like he thought he was going to.
He got a Jelly of the Month Club subscription.
Basically.
Essentially.
Yeah.
And so what they did instead is they remembered the true meaning of the holiday, not having the refrigerator, and just talked about the special feelings they have for each other.
So this is the thing. The origins of this, it says, the happiest holiday in Pangaea, Refrigerator Day, or Fridge Day for short, celebrates the development of the greatest boon to the modern dinosaur, the refrigerator. So they do this little pageant and show the story, and this family's basically wandering from place to place to place looking for food, and all their food is spoiled after they stay at their house, have to move on. And then the father of the family hears a voice that told him to, quote, build a box that is cold inside. And thanks to this cold box, they were able to stay in one place, settle down, and start families.
You do have to fast for 2 days leading up to Fridge Day.
That's one of the worst parts.
It is. But imagine the feast that you have after those 2 days.
Oh, you mean the feast of refrigerator mold pie? She's like, I had to save up so much mold to get the pie right this year.
Yeah.
Wait,
does that make it tier 3 for you?
I don't. Well, I'm not going to eat the refrigerator part, but there's some celebration. I don't eat stuffing. Doesn't mean I'm going to bash on.
Wouldn't you want to go to someone's house that's having a Fridge Day celebration, but like one time? Because I would. It's a tier 2 for me.
It's very commercialized, though.
Yeah.
They talk about
totally.
They talk about that in the episode. How it's just become too commercial.
Yeah, but like they're worshiping a fridge. That's kind of funny. I'd be like, I went to this family's house and they sat around a fridge and they sing songs to it.
Oh, you
mean
songs like
going on.
Oh no!
Oh, come all ye dinosaurs!
Wow.
Store stuff in this box. Food will keep cold and last a long, long time. Wow. Come and spoilage. Build a home, 'cause now you can. Your wandering days are over. Your wandering days are over. Just plug this box into the wall and eat whenever you feel like it.
Wow.
The 90s were a crazy time.
Tier 2 for me as well.
Yeah.
I think it's a good. The fasting and the mold pie threw me off.
Sure.
But I'd be fine celebrating my fridge. It's a fantastic invention.
For me, tier 2 is like I'm a fly on the wall and I get to enjoy what people are doing.
Right.
And then walk away.
Now we're headed to Futurama for Robanukah.
A Philip J. Fry, a pizza delivery boy, is accidentally frozen in 1999 and thawed out on New Year's Eve, $29.99.
Robanukah is the holiest 2 weeks on the Christmas calendar. It's celebrated 1 month after Robamadan, which is 1 month after Robanza.
But the fact is, all these were made up by Bender.
Yeah.
It was a character in the show who's this kind of just ornery robot.
The surly robot.
Very surly robot. But he says he basically makes up these holidays in order to get out of work. Because Robanukah is celebrated by...
Tell us about how you celebrate this holiday.
Not working. Drinking alcohol.
Sure.
Doing the robot breakdance.
Fun.
Lighting 8 beer bottles like candles. Carving industrial barrels like jack-o'-lanterns. Making paper robot cutouts. Playing a game with a droidal, which is like a dreidel, except it is rigged, so Bender always wins. And watching fembots wrestle in petroleum oil.
I'm so glad you mentioned that part. I wondered if you would.
They're robots.
Yeah.
This was featured in Season 1, Episode 5, and the Futurama Holiday Spectacular, originally named a Holiday Value Pack, which was the 13th episode of the 6th season. So, yeah, and the Robot Santa's in that one, I think, too.
This one sounds kind of weird, but kind of worth going to once. I would go to this family's house. and play Droidal.
Bender's fueled by alcohol. He needs it. If he gets sober.
So basically,
then he
this
gets
is
drunk.
like Bender is everyone's drunk uncle, right?
Yeah.
And so he would say a lot of horrible things, but being around that kind of person sometimes is refreshing.
There's an entertainment value, I suppose.
There really is.
Yeah.
I'd say that more than refreshing.
Yeah.
And so I would go every couple of years when I was invited. I would never host this party, but also not working. Sounds nice.
Yeah.
It's 2 weeks of the year.
I'd say tier 2.
Yeah, it's tier 2.
For me, because I see why other people would want to enjoy certain aspects of this, but the day off of work would be fine by me.
Yeah.
All right.
Happy Robanukah, everybody.
Now we're to Malcolm in the Middle
Yes.
for St. Grotus' Day.
So, Malcolm in the Middle, a gifted young teen, tries to survive life with his dim-witted, dysfunctional family. And this one particularly is featured, this holiday, St. Grotus' Day, is featured in the 18th episode of Season 6, an episode called Ida's Dance.
So it actually has like a real origin, I guess. It's a fictional holiday based on St. Stephen's Day.
Kind of, yes.
Which I think is Polish. In the show, they kind of just say it's maybe Croatian, maybe Polish.
She says the old country.
Oh, the old country.
Yeah.
And I guess St. Grotus is the patron saint of dance and also the patron saint of women that have 2 car wrecks in one day. I've never seen this episode.
Oh, man, it's great. Kent, when you put this on the list, it made me happy because I immediately know this episode. It's hilarious. The whole point is that Lois's mom, the mom's mom, is played by...
It's Cloris Leachman, right?
Yes, Cloris Leachman. And she is horrible. Like, she is one of the most Henri Surly, terrible characters in TV. She's just so mean to her family. But Lois, the mom, she goes there to visit her to be like, what's going on? And she's like, oh, we're celebrating St. Grotus Day. She's like, oh, not that one. But in order to prove herself to her mom, she makes the St. Grotus Day tart.
Which is what?
Now, the tart is a gigantic at least 35 layer pastry, with each layer representing some part of the history of St. Grotus Day, which, by the way, it was the day the saint killed our enemies and burned their churches, then went to hell to ask Jesus to increase the severity of their punishments.
Jeez.
And that's the thing. This is a festival of just remembering pain and suffering.
But they do like a traditional dance. They dress up traditionally.
Yes, they have these really floofy dresses with like 2 corsets on, and they do this dance with the wooden poles where you're banging them together and trying not to break your ankles.
Yeah. So it's a happy celebration, even though the origins are darker?
Yeah, it kind of is, but it's all about remembering the suffering and the pain.
Okay.
Like, for example, as she's making this tart, she's trying to get back in her mom's good graces, so she's making the tart, and all these old ladies from the old country are all telling her she's terrible at it. And they're saying things like, oh, the almonds have to be facing the right direction. The 16th layer is apricots, not the 15th. And the prunes almost got burned. And then she gets done, and it's this huge, huge pastry. And then they say, oh, by the way, we didn't believe you were going to be able to make it anyway, so we made our own. And they have one just over on the other side they made from. And she says, it doesn't even taste good. And she's like, it's supposed to be good. It's supposed to be hard to make. This is supposed to be a terrible experience making this to remind you of the suffering. And then they bring out the knives to her to dance between.
So it's like Trek.
Kind of.
Well done.
Nice reference.
So I'm going to give this one a tier 2 just because I don't know much about it, but I would like to go and dress up in traditional St. Grotus Day. Where?
If you haven't seen the dance, it's one of those, they're fun to see. They actually do the real dance in the Philippines. The roots are in the Philippines, and it's in Balkan culture as well. But it's called tinikling. I don't want to say tinkling, but it looks like tinkling. There's an extra I there, so I'm going to say tinikling.
It's kashik, actually.
But it's when they bang the poles and you kind of hop between them. And it's a cool little dance to see.
Oh, yeah.
When I saw this episode, I really did want us to try the St. Grotus tart.
Even though it's probably gross.
Probably gross, and it's got a bunch of the stuff I don't really care for, probably, but I wanted to try it. So I'm going to say tier 2 as well.
Okay.
All right, now we're heading on down to Sesame Street for trash giving.
Oh, I love trash. Sesame Street. I don't need to give us plot synopsis here.
It's the show that you've watched since you were a kid.
But this holiday didn't exist back in our heyday. This is not till 2013.
This was season 53.
Oh, I was a kid back then.
Okay.
This was episode 4,324. Literally, that's what it is. And this is a Grouch holiday.
So it actually celebrates the arrival of the Spilgrums on their boat, the Maysour.
Yeah, and they tried to celebrate the settlement between the native slugs and worms.
Yeah.
So for this, Zach, if you're going to celebrate trash giving, you've got to decorate bear sticks with garbage, eat hot bowls of glob, and then gather the Grouch families who then complain about each other. They air grievances.
Yeah. Which I appreciate.
They have a trash giving carol.
There's a parade as well.
Yeah, a trash giving day parade with music, clowns, floats, and balloons. which that could be interesting to see. But the rest of this, I'm not down with it. So I'm going to say tier 3.
It's a tier 3.
Sorry, Oscar.
Trash?
It's garbage.
Now, back to Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
For Treat Yourself Day.
We tried not to do multiples on different TV shows, but
it's Treat Yourself.
Treat Yourself.
Treat Yourself 2011.
So this was in season 4, episode 4, Pawnee Rangers, and season 7, episode 6, Save JJ's. But this is a day when you treat yourself.
This is celebrated on October 13th every year, or any day your heart desires, but just once a year.
Yeah.
Yes.
So one day a year, and this is Tom Haverford, the character Tom Haverford and Donna Meagle. They invite Ben. Ben's feeling down. This other character's having a bad day. So they say, hey, come to our treat yourself day. Mm-hmm. And essentially they'll go up to something and be like, this scarf is obnoxiously expensive. It's way too long, but I love it. And they say, treat yourself. And they buy it. And then they say, you get facials. You're going to get, fancy watches. Anything you want. Treat yourself for a whole day.
And apparently you eat sushi formerly owned by celebrities?
Yes.
Explain that to me.
They go to a restaurant. They go to a restaurant and they're like, we have this, which used to be in so-and-so's aquarium. And then they go behind, they look behind him at one point, and Josh Groban's sitting there and he's like, I'll have the seafood or something like that. So he takes his own fish and eats it. It's bizarre. But one of my favorite points, Kent, is they're doing all these indulgent things. Yeah. Like, they're getting the massages and the pampering. And Ben, who's a nerd.
Yeah.
He's a self-appointed nerd. Like, he's really kind of awkward that way. He's not getting into it. And they're like, we need to do his version of it. And so they go into a comic book store. And he comes out wearing a full-size Christian Bale Batman outfit.
What?
And he's sitting there and he's like, I don't know. And they're like, whoa, that's what you're getting? He's like, it's stupid, I know. And they said, no, Ben, treat yourself.
Yeah.
And he walks out of the store wearing the Batman costume.
For that reason, tier 1. That's amazing.
I think it's actually it's a fun.
Don't you think we should all just
holiday.
kind of celebrate this once a year at least?
Sure.
Retail,
I'm pretty sure it's called your birthday.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I'm buying myself things.
Treat yourself.
Because I think retail therapy is something that we've all learned in the past 3 years. It's something that we need.
Yeah.
And so I think treat yourself happens more than once a year, but definitely should at least happen once a year.
I'm frugal.
Really?
Yeah.
And this,
tier 2.
As much as I would love Treat Yourself Day, I watched some of the things they were buying.
You deserve better for yourself.
Thank you. I was watching some of the things they were buying, and they're like, I don't even need this. And like, treat yourself.
You don't
and I'm
need to
like,
dress
no, don't buy
like
it.
a
I don't think that I could fully celebrate Treat Yourself because the whole time I'd be like, my bank account's getting drained, and this is
Here's
pointless.
I have to deal with the consequences of this tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow there are concerts. This is like
Joel's
the Purge.
going through the celebrations
after Kent
book.
kissed everybody.
He bought the celebrations book that his kid sold from school. Is there a treat yourself day?
No,
Like buy one, get one?
No, be like, Dad, can I get this? I look at the coupon and it says 2 for 1. I'm like, treat yourself.
That goes against the holiday.
But we're treating ourselves, so maybe if I do a scaled down version, but I'm giving this a tier 2 just because
Wow.
I also think this could encourage irresponsibility in people in spending. This is like the Purge, but with your wallet, Kent.
My treat yourself would be buying electronics and cars.
Zach, are you into this? Tier 1?
Oh, but this is a tier 1 holiday all the way.
But then you're
Love
broke
treat
the
yourself.
next day.
I would also kiss everyone on Treat Yourself Day.
Kent, stop kissing people.
Not on Bunta Eve, though.
Now we're watching Robot Chicken for
What is it, 2003?
Weasel Stomping Day.
Oh, Robot Chicken.
Yeah,
So I forgot about Robot Chicken.
So it's still going. It's been going from 2005 to present.
What?
11,
No
11
way.
seasons, 220
Seth Green
episodes.
has a hobby, and he's not going to give it up.
Yeah, but Weasel Stomping Day is actually a song by Weird Al Yankovic.
Oh, this is a Joel edition.
on a Straight Outta
for sure.
Linwood. But it was put on Robot Chicken, so we're counting it for this. I can read some parts of this. I'm not going to sing it, but just put that Viking helmet on, spread that mayonnaise on the lawn. So come along and have a laugh, snap their weaselly spines in half, grab your boots and stomp your cares away. Hip hip hooray, it's Weasel Stomping Day.
This is a 1:35 music video you can see on YouTube. It's a Weird Al song. It actually came from one of his albums. And it is a very gross claymation video where people do put on these free hiking boots, which is cool. You get hiking boots.
You get hiking boots and Viking helmets.
But then you have to put mayo on your lawn, which is disgusting. But the sound of the squishing is so gross. You can play hacky sack with the weasels. That's kind of fun.
The squishing noises were made by mistreating fruit, is what it said.
Oh.
And then the weasel sounds, the screeches, were provided by Weird Al Yankovic's wife, daughter, and pet cockatiel. Because every time they squish one of those weasels, it makes a noise, and it's pretty disturbing.
Yeah.
But Weasel Stomping Day, it's a bizarre song. It's a funny
I imagine
song.
it would take a lot of stomping to stomp a weasel.
Yeah,
You stomped a weasel?
I haven't stomped a weasel, but I have seen CPR or Heimlich performed on a ferret, and that was bizarre.
You're bearing the lead, sir.
A ferret was choking at one of my girlfriend's houses, and then she gave it a Heimlich.
She did it save it?
It saved it.
What?
A little stretchy body.
Hold on. How do you give Heimlich to a ferret?
No, that's the problem. She picked it up and it was like dangling, and it just stretched almost all the way to the floor.
Okay.
Yeah, she got out. She basically wrung it like a washcloth.
Where's the belly on the ferret?
She found it. It was below the ribs.
Do you just wring it
I
like
feel
a wet
we've
rag?
sidetracked here.
This is a necessary.
Save it for our girlfriend tearing show.
Save this episode with ferret Heimlich.
Like a washcloth.
Yeah. Do you just wring it out and then just?
She saved the ferret's life, but I don't think I could ever
Really?
stomp on a weasel. I'm giving this a tier 3 because while funny in concept, I think the music video is funny. I don't ever want to.
I would now celebrate Ferret Heimlich Day, which apparently means kissing every ferret. So, yeah, this is a tier 3.
Now to Springfield for The Simpsons and Whacking Day.
Do you say whacking day or whacking day?
Whacking Day.
So everyone knows The Simpsons. It's the satiric adventures of a working class family in the misfit city of Springfield.
This is May 10th every year.
Yep, and this Whacking Day is the name of the episode too. It was the 20th episode of the 4th season, and
Also back when it was good.
yeah. The origins of Whacking Day were when Jebediah Springfield killed a snake in 1775, or did he?
The whole episode is about the discovery of the false origin of Whacking Day.
Bart, having been expelled from school, gets homeschooled by his mom and learns a thing or two about Jebediah Springfield's history and realizes he couldn't have been in this place in 1775 because he was fighting a Revolutionary War battle at the time. And so then they found out that Whacking Day was actually started in 1924 as an excuse to beat up the Irish.
Why am I laughing? Because it's horrible.
It's just one of those funny little throwaways.
When the Simpsons could get away with things. Is that what we're saying?
Yes, exactly.
So how they celebrate the holiday and maybe how people would today is the citizens of a town or Springfield drive snakes to the center of the town and beat them to death. Now, I really did like the whole training montage that Homer has.
Oh, yeah,
where he
as
has
a
like the
ninja?
wooden snakes come up.
Yeah.
It's very funny. I did find out that there are kind of versions of Whacking Day that take place today.
That's just it. Is apparently the writer of this episode, George Meyer, he found out that there was an annual ritual held in a Texas town where people would beat rattlesnakes with sticks and then sell their skin.
Sweetwater, Texas. So what they do now is they bring them to like an arena. It's almost like a rodeo arena.
Mm-hmm.
And then they sell like rattles as like earrings or necklaces, or they'll like just drain the poison and they kind of play games with them. They have a pageant where there's like a Miss Snakeskin or whatever like that. It is just
So it's not the snakes on the pageant.
No,
Put
it's
little
actual
dresses on
people.
them, little crown on a rattlesnake.
And so, I mean, obviously barbaric,
Yeah.
but they claim in Texas that, no, we're getting rid of the rattlesnake population so they don't go into the suburbs.
Well, I mean, if you have a snake problem, this might be a handy thing to do. I mean, St.
Sure.
Patrick did it way back in the day. We celebrate him.
Okay, yeah.
I'm sure there weren't really snakes
Okay,
there.
what?
But that's the mythology. In Simpsons, they all bang their pots and pans and do air horns, and they get the snakes all to the center of town, and they all whack them with sticks.
Right.
The mayor, by the way, brought pre-whacked snakes just so he could look. He got like a dozen of them, so he could look pretty cool.
Oh, and Barry White showed up as well.
Yeah, Barry White shows up to introduce it, and then he realizes what he's doing. What they're doing, he's like, "This is disgusting," and he leaves.
Yeah.
They also sing the song "O Whacking Day," which is to the tune of "O Christmas Tree," and part of it goes, "We'll break their backs, gouge out their eyes, their evil hearts will pulverize. Oh, whacking day, oh, whacking day." Yeah. Oh, this was the episode, by the way, that introduced Superintendent Chalmers.
Super Nintendo Chalmers?
Yes, Superintendent Chalmers, Skinner's boss. I didn't realize that until
Really?
I watched this. Yeah, first one he came
Back in the good old days.
But I try to avoid snakes in general.
Yeah.
And so
You don't fear them, but they're just dangerous.
I fear them if they're in the wild and I encounter them. I don't fear them if it's like a classroom setting or a zoo. But
Okay.
But yeah, I don't want to get around snakes anyway, and I can't stomp a weasel. I can't whack a snake.
Yeah. This is a tier 3.
And finally, we have from the Ren and Stimpy show, Yak Shaving Day.
I like how
Zack,
this
you
show
idiot.
has just kind of progressed into, hey, remember this?
Yeah. So Ren and Stimpy, if you don't know what that is, it's like the older version of SpongeBob SquarePants. Ren, a psychotic chihuahua, and Stimpson J. Cat, a dim-witted Manx cat, who goes by the name Stimpy, have a host of unusual adventures. This was on Nickelodeon, and it was the show your parents
didn't really want you to be watching.
They didn't know what it was until they saw it, and they're like, "What is this?" And they didn't want you to watch it after. It's not like it was dirty. It was just gross at times.
Feeling grimy, maybe.
Yeah, a little bit.
So every yak shaving night, the magical shaven yak comes out of the sky with his magical canoe and comes into your house through your pipes and leaves you shaving scum?
Yes. Basically, a magical yak comes in your house and shaves in your sink and leaves the hair for you to find.
Yeah.
That's the magic of Yak Shaving Day.
So
which is not to be confused with Yaksmas. That's completely different.
Yeah. So there are like decorations, there's traditions that we need to put up. We hang diapers instead of stockings. We get rubber boots. We stuff them with coleslaw. And then we just wait for the shaven yak to float on by.
You have to leave a bowl of lather by the sink,
Oh,
too.
absolutely. And
And there's a song that went with it and everything. By the way, Ren and Stimpy, 5 seasons, 52 episodes.
That's all.
And yeah, well, it was 126 segments because it's like where they do the 2 in 1. This one was just a short that ran after the episode "The Boy Who Cried Rat," which was the episode 3, season 1.
I would like to go to a house that believes that a shaven yak would fly by at night.
You want? They put like coleslaw in your boots, Kent.
I'm not. Well, am I wearing the rubber boots afterwards?
I don't know. I
Here's
think you
the
just
thing.
put them out. Like the
I want
wooden
to go to
shoes.
someone's house that's like, hey, if we stay up all night, we're going to hear this canoe go by and the shaven yak will go by and travel through our pipes. I want to see if this will happen. I'm not going to personally celebrate it with my children, but I will go to someone's house and spend the night just to see it happen.
So you're okay with this being
The yak with the 5 o'clock shadow permanently.
But what are you giving it?
It's a tier 2.
Okay.
Yeah, he wants to see it happen.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing.
check it out.
I live with a lot of
Shaven yaks.
no girls. I live with a lot of girls, and their hair is everywhere.
Screaming infidelities.
Yes, but it's just constant of just like drains and sinks and the brushing and the little hair ties with hair all over them everywhere, and I hate it. I hate it.
Is there hair art on the shower wall?
There has been,
Yeah.
and over the handle, and it's just everywhere. And I think to myself, what is happening right now?
By the way, Zach's in the room, and that probably happens to him all the time.
All the time.
But
That's your best friend.
he got demoted during the episode.
Did I get promoted?
No. But I don't want to deal with yak hair in my sink and cleaning that out. That's going to clog the drain.
So you do
assuming.
believe in the shaven yak then?
I do. I've seen him fly across the moon on his magical canoe.
You just don't want him to come around.
No, this is a tier 3. This was a filler episode. It's kind of a filler holiday, and I don't.
Ren and Stimpy is a filler show. Let's be real.
It's got its moments. But there we go. So yeah, Yak Shaving Day tier 3 from me.
Tier 2.
Wow. We began and ended the show on an odd Nickelodeon animation. True. Something.
Zach,
Well,
you got some stats for us, Zach?
I do. Let's talk about what we are going to celebrate.
What if instead of Yak Shaving Day, we do Zack Shaving Day?
Oh.
Where every year we will pin Zack down and shave him head to toe.
Just head?
Just head.
Or, no, head and toes.
Head to chin.
Just head and
and
toes.
toes.
Head and toes.
Okay, head and
That's
toes.
fine.
Do you have furry toes?
Toes could use it.
We can shave his belly.
Can I see?
No.
No.
I'll keep that to myself.
Would you allow us to shave your face?
No.
To shave your hair?
No.
If I paid you $200 right now.
I know a thing or two about both of those activities. No.
What if I used an epilady on your hair?
Sure.
On your beard?
Now we're good.
Okay.
Yeah. Only because it's you, Joel.
Aw.
Trying to suck up.
You're promoted again.
Yeah.
What about me?
Hey, you're a good guy.
Let's talk about what holidays we're celebrating,
All right.
gentlemen. These are the consensus tier 1 between the two of you. There are 4. We are celebrating Best Friends Day.
Okay.
Awesome.
Chrismukkah, Cinco de Cuatro, and Life Day.
I love it.
Oh, nice.
Yes. Here's what we're definitely not celebrating. There are 5. You gave tier 3s both to Festival of the Bells from Fraggle Rock,
Ding, 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 ding.
Purge Night from The Purge,
Murder. Kissing.
Trash
Okay.
Giving from Sesame Street,
I like that Joel needs to do this now.
Weasel Stomping Day, Robot Chicken, and Whacking Day from The Simpsons. Well, again, we just did the list alphabetically, and apparently all Joel's favorites were at the beginning, and least favorites were at the end.
Yeah, I
for
hate
some
the end of
reason.
the alphabet. But let us know.
This guy named Zack is sad.
Let us know. Let us know, listener, if you agree with our rankings of these fictional holidays.
Or if you have family holidays that you celebrate that no one knows about.
Oh, we'd love to hear about that. And also let us know if we missed any fictional holidays that you would like to see us talk about. We're probably not going to do another episode of this, but we'll let you know in the comments.
Like we apologize to First Contact Day or Judgment Day, for example.
Oh, Judgment Day. Kent wanted to put Judgment Day on the list.
I sure
That's
did.
not a holiday.
Yeah, Sarah Connor goes to the park and watches the children play. On
until
Judgment Day.
she turns into ashes.
Oh.
That is not a holiday. Yeah, a couple Star Trek holidays got cut out.
Federation Day.
Yeah. And even Futurama's Freedom Day, we talked
Right.
about that one, where you can do anything, but it's basically like a lesser version of the Purge.
Yeah.
So it got cut. But let us know if you have any other fictional holidays, and we'll let you know what we think of them too. On Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, we want to hear from you no matter what day it is. But before we go, we'd like to celebrate... Yeah, because it's holidays. Some patrons, including the I Am the Listener tier, which includes Sir and Madam Hicks, Shannon West, Scott Sprague, Ryan and Marley, Rocky and Steph, Lady Terry A. Finley, Juice the Cooler King Swallow, Jennifer Kilkowski, Dave Kelly, Casey Cummings, Briggs is Hot, Braden Winterton, Angela Plotz, Andrew in the Cold and Dark, and Adam and Rachel Crump. And then we have our Bacon Council, which includes the one, the only Chris Anderson, Stephen, everyone's favorite Ross, Star Wars expert Kyler, our favorite couple, the Madsons, Nicole D. Kale, Johnny English the Brick, Her Royal Highness Jessica Terry, Glow Clendaniel, Debbie Foster, and Baker.
Thank you, patrons.
Thank you, patrons. You are the purge to our night.
Oh, come on.
But if you want to find me, you can find me at 76Joel on Twitter. You can find me performing with Quickwits. They perform at the Midvale Performing Arts Center. For more details, go to qwcomedy.com or go to the Quickwits Facebook page.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Kenny3DD. You can read my movie reviews at ShowtimeShowdown.com.
If you'd like to connect with me, you can do so on Twitter and Instagram at Tumbling Mustard. But more importantly, make sure you're following Baconsale. Go ahead and like that Facebook page and visit at Baconsale on Twitter and Instagram. While you're doing that, visit tpublic.com/Baconsale, where you can get yourself some merch. We'd love for you to get a nice whacking day Bacon Sale gift for yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course. And then if you like the show, you like what's going on here, and you want to support us further, visit patreon.com/baconsale, where support for the show starts at just $3 a month. You can get all sorts of behind the scenes benefits, including the almost weekly Bacon Bits that come out maybe a day earlier sometimes. Every once in a while. Patreon.com/baconsale.
So until next time, Bacon Sale Day is coming up April 15th. Don't forget to stock up on your boxes of Queenie's grits before they're gone. Don't watch movies with smoking in them, you two.
The fictional holiday. Okay, now I'm not ready to fight. Now I'm ready to hug.
Sure. I would feel obligated to get both Zack and you a gift.
Who would you get a gift for first?
I put that in order for a reason.
Do you know how many people, including listener of this podcast, who think that Kent is their best friend? Bunta Heldistelic Shaduru Invader? That's why we're best friends.
We're appropriating the hut culture.
You worship the huts.
A little bit. 7 Leia dip.
Oh,
get it?
Move on from this.
Joel, you said I'm not your best friend. Here's why that upsets me.
The spelling bee has taken me down.
This is like our best friends day.
But for those people,
or should I say your and Zach's best friends day?
Yeah.
And I want to get pinched.
The way that Kent just shifted his eyes a little bit was adorable and creepy at the same time.
They don't have fleas on Kashiki.
I'd rather commit crime in like June.
When do you want to commit murder, listener?
But if the purge is real, I would kiss every girl.
So in your case, the purge is real.
I've made the purge real in my heart.
Okay,
leave a
kids,
note.
We're ready to celebrate Purge Day. Jaywalk.
Oh, I love trash. I'm frugal. This is like the purge, but with your wallet, Kent.
I would also kiss everyone on Treat Yourself Day.
Save it for our girlfriend tearing show.